Jack and the Magic Beans.
Jack and his mother are poor. Jack's mother says, "Jack, sell our cow, then we can buy food." Jack gets the cow. He walks with her down the road. Jack meets an old man. The old man asks,
"Where are you going?"
Jack says,
"I am going to town. I need to sell this cow."
The man says,
"I will buy her. Here are 5 magic beans."
The old man says,
"Go home and put these beans in your garden. Tomorrow you will have a giant bean plant."
Jack runs home with the magic beans. His mother is angry. She throws the beans out the window. Jack goes to bed without dinner. In the morning, Jack looks out the window. He sees a giant bean plant. Jack climbs the plant. He climbs up and up and up. In the clouds, he sees a big house. Jack goes to the house. Jack knocks on the door. A giant woman opens the door.
"A boy?"
she says.
"Hello," says Jack. "I didn't eat breakfast. Can you give me some food?"
The woman looks worried. She says,
"My husband eats boys. Hide in this pot. I will give you some food."
Jack hides. Then he hears the woman's husband come home.
"I smell a boy,"
her husband says. The woman says,
"You just smell the boy from last night's dinner. Sit down, eat your breakfast."
The giant eats. Then he puts a bag of gold on the table. He counts the gold. When he gets tired, he goes to bed for a nap. Jack comes out of the pot. He takes some of the gold. Then he runs to the bean plant. Jack climbs down and down and down. Jack gives the gold to his mother. Jack and his mother are happy. But later, Jack thinks about the house in the clouds. One day, he goes back up the bean plant. He goes to the house in the clouds and knocks on the door. The giant's wife opens the door.
"You again,"
she says.
"You took my husband's gold. What do you want?"
"Well," Jack says,
"I was..."
Then they hear the giant.
"Quick, hide,"
says the giant's wife.
"I smell a boy,"
the giant says. His wife says,
"You just smell the boy from this morning's breakfast. Sit down, eat your lunch."
The giant eats. Then he gets his special goose. It lays gold eggs. He watches the goose. When he gets tired, he takes a nap. Jack takes the goose. Then he runs to the bean plant. Jack climbs down and down and down. Jack gives the goose to his mother. Jack and his mother are happy. But later, Jack thinks about the house in the clouds again. He goes back up the bean plant. But he does not go into the house. He hides outside the house. The giant and his wife are in the house. The giant says,
I smell a boy.
The giant's wife says, It's the little thief. Let's find him. They look for Jack, but they can't find him. The giant is tired. He says,
Wife, bring my harp. I want it to sing. Then I can sleep.
The giant's wife brings the harp. The harp sings. Soon the giant is sleeping. Jack goes into the house. He takes the harp. Then he runs. The harp yells, Help! The giant wakes up. He runs after Jack. Jack runs to the bean plant. He climbs down and down and down. The giant starts to climb down the bean plant. Jack gets his axe. He cuts the bean plant. The giant falls and dies. Jack gives his mother the harp. From then on, they give shows with the harp. They also sell gold eggs. Jack and his mother get rich. Jack marries a princess, and they live happily ever after.
The Woodman and the Axe. A woodman was a very poor man. He made money with his axe. He cut down trees to sell them. One day, the woodman was in the forest. He saw a good tree to cut down. The tree was near a pool. The woodman worked hard all day. He was tired. He could not hold his axe very well. The axe slipped out of his hands. It went into a pool. The woodman was very sad. He did not have another axe. He also did not have money. He could not buy another axe. He began to cry. The woodman thought he was alone in the forest. But then the god Mercury came to him. Mercury asked,
"What happened? Why are you crying?"
The woodman said, "I lost my axe in the pool. It is the only thing I have. I cannot make money without it." Mercury jumped into the pool. He came up with a gold axe. He asked,
"Is this your axe?"
"No," said the honest woodman. Mercury put the axe on the bank by the pool. He jumped into the water again. Mercury came up with a silver axe. He asked,
"Is this your axe?"
The woodman said, "No, my axe has a wood handle. It is very plain." Mercury put the silver axe on the bank. He went into the water again. Mercury came up with an old axe. It was the woodman's axe. The woodman was very happy. He said, "Oh, thank you for finding my axe." Mercury was also happy. The woodman was honest. Mercury said,
"Thank you for your honesty. I will reward you with all 3 axes. The gold and silver axes are yours."
The woodman went back to his village. He was happy about his axes. He told everyone in the village. There were other woodmen in the village. They thought that they could also get a reward. They would lie to Mercury about their axes. The other woodmen went into the forest. They went to different places. They hid their axes. Then they pretended that they lost them. The woodman cried until Mercury came. Mercury went to the woodman. He talked to them one at a time. Mercury held up the gold axe. Mercury asked,
"Is this your axe?"
One of the other woodmen said, "Oh, yes, it is mine." But Mercury did not give him the gold axe. He hit him over the head with the axe. He went to the other woodman. He also was not honest. Mercury sent them home. The next day, the woodmen went to get their axes. One looked for his axe in a bush. One looked for his axe under a rock. When they looked for them, the axes were gone. Mercury had taken them. Honesty is the best policy. Ole-Luk-Oie, the Dream God. Ole-Luk-Oie is a storyteller. Each evening, he walks up the stairs. The children are sitting in their chairs. They are not sleepy. Ole-Luk-Oie throws dust into their eyes. Each child's head starts to drop. Ole-Luk-Oie sits on the bed. He wears a coat. The coat changes colors. The green coat changes to purple. The purple coat changes to blue. Ole-Luk-Oie carries 2 umbrellas and a magic wand. One umbrella has pictures on it. He covers the good children with it. They dream beautiful stories. The second umbrella is for the naughty children. They do not dream. Ole-Luk-Oie visits a boy named Halmer. Halmer is in bed. Ole-Luk-Oie says,
"Watch me make your room beautiful."
Some flowers grow as large as trees. Then Ole-Luk-Oie and Halmer hear something. Sad sounds come from a table.
"What is that?"
Ole-Luk-Oie asks. He looks on the table. He finds the boy's writing book. The letters are crying.
"Look, we are ready to fall over." "You must be erased,"
said Ole-Luk-Oie.
"No!"
they cry.
"Halmer, we must help these letters stand up,"
says Ole-Luk-Oie.
1, 2, 3. Look how tall they stand now.
In the morning, Halmer looks at his letters. Sadly, they are still falling over. The next night, Ole-Luk-Oie visits Halmer in his bedroom. Ole-Luk-Oie uses his magic wand. He touches a picture on the wall. The birds in the picture sing. The water in the picture moves. Ole-Luk-Oie lifts Halmer into the picture. The boy runs to the water. He gets into a red and white boat. The boat passes beautiful castles. Princesses stand by open windows. One holds out a sugar heart. Halmer grabs one side of the heart. It breaks. He holds the larger piece. The next night, the dream god floats into Halmer's room in a boat.
"Will you sail with me?"
asks Ole-Luk-Oie.
"We will visit foreign countries."
At once, they sail away. Halmer and Ole-Luk-Oie watch storks flying. One lands on the ship. The stork is very tired. They put it into a henhouse.
"Who are you?"
ask the hens in the henhouse. The stork tells them about his home, Africa.
"He lies!"
they cry. Halmer hears the noise. He opens the henhouse door. The stork comes out and flies away. It continues its trip to Africa.
You birds are mean. You will soon be made into soup,
warns Halmer. The boy wakes up in his bed, smiling. Ole-Luk-Oie visits again the next night.
"Look!"
he cries. In his hand is a mouse.
"He is here to ask you to a wedding. 2 young mice are getting married. They live under the floor."
A mouse hole is small.
says Halmer. I will help you, says Ole-Luk-Oie. He touches Halmer with his magic wand. Halmer is now as tall as the dream god's finger. Into the mouse hole they go. The lady mice laugh. The gentleman mice wait quietly. The bride and groom stand next to the cheese. They kiss. It is a beautiful wedding. Then Halmer returns home. The next night, Ole-Luk-Oie asks, Are you ready, my boy? There is another wedding. Your sister's dolls will marry.
Yes, I know,
says Halmer.
they have married many times.
Yes, they have, but this is the last time, says Ole-Luk-Oie. The dolls, Herman and Bertha, are dressed in their best clothes. Halmer watches as Ole-Luk-Oie marries them.
Shall we travel?
Asks Herman. The two dolls ask other toys. They ask a duck and a hen.
Many countries are warmer,
Says the hen.
But they don't have red cabbage.
Reminds the duck. Bertha smiles at Herman.
The duck is right. Let's stay here. We can sit by the gate. We can eat red cabbage from the garden.
The next night, Halmer asks to travel with the dream god again.
Not tonight,
Answers Ole-Luk-Oie.
Tomorrow is Sunday. I must make the world beautiful. I must take each star down from the sky. Each one must be shined and numbered. Then I will return it to its place in the sky. We don't want any falling stars.
A picture on the wall shouts,
Mr. Ole-Luk-Oie, do you know me? I am the boy's great-grandfather. Your stories aren't true. Stop telling them to my great-grandson.
I am older than you, sir, but you are the head of this family,
says Ole-Luk-Oie.
I will do as you ask.
Off he walks. Halmer wakes up from his sleep. Ole-Luk-Oie returns the next night.
Hello, Halmer,
He says,
Tonight, let me show you my brother. His name is Death. He only visits once. He rides a horse. He wears a dark coat.
Halmer watches Death put young and old people onto his horse. Death asks one question. Are you good to others? Some answer yes. They hear a beautiful story. Some answer
Sometimes.
They hear a scary story. They want to jump off the horse. The horse holds them tight.
I love your brother.
Halmer shouts.
I am not afraid of death.
The great-grandfather is smiling.
Ole-Luk-Oie, listen to me. My great-grandson has learned something important tonight. We don't need to be afraid of death.
The Prince and the Pauper. Chapter 1. Two Boys. "500 years ago, two baby boys were born on the same day. They lived
in the city of London. One was a rich prince. His name was Edward. He lived in the palace. The other boy was a pauper. His name was Tom. He lived in a small wooden house with his mother, father, grandmother, and 2 sisters. They all slept in one small room. The children did not have beds and had to sleep on the floor. Tom's father stole things from people. He liked to hit Tom. His mother was a beggar, and Tom helped her. It was a hard life. Tom had one grown-up friend, an old man. He taught Tom to read and write. He told Tom wonderful stories about kings, queens, and princes. These stories made Tom excited, and he started to dream that he was a prince. Tom told his poor friends his dream, but they laughed at him. He didn't care. Tom acted like a prince. He was very good at it. The other children thought he was smart. They acted like his servants, and it was a fun game. At night, the game stopped. Then Tom had to go home, and he was just a poor, hungry boy again. Chapter 2. The Meeting. One day, Tom went looking for food. He walked far from home. He didn't know where he was. He saw many big buildings with big gates. The gates were gold. He saw a guard. Tom was in front of the palace. Many people were there to see the prince. Tom walked to the front of the crowd. His eyes grew big because he could see Prince Edward. The prince looked kind. He was dressed in beautiful clothes. He had many servants around him. Tom pushed his face through the gate. He wanted to get closer. One of the guards grabbed Tom. The guard shouted, "Get away from here, beggar boy!" The crowd laughed at Tom. The prince heard the shouting and ran to the gates. He said, "Open the gates and let him in." The crowd stopped laughing. They shouted, "Long live Prince Edward!" Prince Edward looked at Tom. "I think you are tired and hungry, so come with me." Tom went into the palace with the prince. Chapter 3. A Big Mistake. The prince gave Tom some food to eat. He asked Tom many questions about his life. Tom told him about his family and the many games he played with his friends. "We play at sword fighting a lot. In the summer, we swim in the river," Tom told the prince. "We dance and sing too." The prince had a lonely life. He thought Tom's life sounded fun. Tom was very surprised. "I would give anything to be dressed in your fine clothes," he said. "I want to be like you." "Then let's change clothes," said the prince. So they did. Tom and Edward looked in the mirror. Tom looked like the prince. Edward looked like the pauper. They were surprised. The two boys had the same hair, lips, nose, and eyes.
"We have the same face,"
said Edward.
"You're right,"
said Tom.
"We have the same voice,"
said Edward.
"We do,"
said Tom. The prince saw that Tom's hand was hurt.
"Who did that?"
he asked.
"The guard outside,"
said Tom. The prince was angry. He ran outside wearing Tom's dirty clothes. He shouted at the guard. The guard thought he was Tom and pushed him out of the gate.
"You made trouble for me, boy. Now get away." "But I am Prince Edward,"
said Edward. Everyone laughed. They did not believe him.
"You're making a big mistake,"
shouted Edward. No one listened. Chapter 4. Tom the Prince. Inside the palace, everyone thought that Tom was the prince. King Henry thought so. The prince's sisters, Princesses Elizabeth and Mary, thought so. His cousin, Lady Jane, thought so. All the great lords and ladies thought so too. So did the servants. When Tom said something strange, they all said,
Poor Prince Edward, he is mad.
Tom was too scared to tell them who he was. He did his best to act like the prince. He made many mistakes. He didn't eat like a prince, or know any of the prince's homework. He didn't know what to say when they asked him questions.
"I forgot the answers,"
he said. He hoped the real Prince Edward would come back soon. Chapter 5. Prince Edward's Adventures. Edward was angry. No one believed that he was the prince. They were mean to him because they thought he was poor. Everywhere he went, he said,
"I am Prince Edward."
People would laugh. He did not look like a prince. He looked like a pauper. They all thought he was mad. The prince was tired, hungry, and scared. He felt lonely in the big city. He walked to the river and over a large bridge. A dirty man grabbed his shirt.
"Come here, Tom. You are a bad boy,"
the man said.
"I am Prince Edward,"
said the prince. The man laughed.
"You are no prince. You are my son, Tom."
The prince had to go with Tom's father. He had to sleep in the small room in the wooden house. The prince told the family,
"I am not Tom. I am Prince Edward."
His mother and sisters cried.
"Poor Tom is mad,"
they said. In the morning, the prince ran away. He met a kind man called Sir Miles. He told Sir Miles his story. Sir Miles also thought the boy was mad, but he felt sorry for him. "I will play this game and wait. He will get better," he thought. Sir Miles took Edward home. "I will look after you, my prince," he said. The prince was happy to have a servant. The next morning, Sir Miles went to buy Edward some clean clothes. The prince was sleeping. When Sir Miles came back, Edward was gone. Tom's father had taken him away. Chapter 6. The Real King. Sir Miles looked everywhere for the prince. He found him in a small town outside London. The prince was in trouble. Tom's father and his bad friends stole a pig. The people of the town chased them, so they ran away. They left the pig with Prince Edward. Everyone thought he was the thief. The people took Prince Edward to jail. There, he met many poor people.
"One day, when I am king, I will help them,"
he thought. Sir Miles told the people that Edward was mad. The people let the prince go.
"Take this mad boy back to London,"
they said. Then everyone heard some sad news.
"King Henry is dead. Prince Edward is the new king,"
shouted a man from the palace.
"My father is dead,"
cried the prince. He was very sad.
"Tom is going to take my place. He will be the new king. We must go to London quickly to stop this."
At the palace, Tom was feeling scared.
"I don't want to be king. I miss my family,"
he cried. The next day, there was a big party for the new king. All the lords and ladies of the land were there. Just as they were about to put the king's crown on Tom's head, they heard a shout.
"I am the real king,"
said the voice. It was Prince Edward.
"Yes, he is,"
agreed Tom.
"Please, Prince Edward, come and get your crown. I don't want to be king."
Edward took the crown.
Long live the king!
shouted the crowd.
"Thank you for giving me back my crown,"
said Edward to Tom.
"I will look after poor people like you now that I am the king. You will not be a pauper anymore."
Tom was happy. Sir Miles was surprised that Edward was the real king. He was happy too. King Edward was the happiest of all.